It's Tuesday, June 24th, which means we are officially into the dog days of summer. The NBA Finals have wrapped up. The Chiefs are in what we're going to call the dark period until training camp arrives. And I can't think of any better way to celebrate that than by the visuals that you may be seeing right now if you're watching the show. As we're all back together, the whole crew is here, but none of us are where we're supposed to be. Hey, Seth, you've got a great backdrop. You look like you're in a very studious location. Why are you on the road right now?
My internet decided that it was not going to work today, and then it worked, and then it didn't work, and then it worked. It made for a really eventful work day working from home. It's always fun texting your boss like, hey, so you know that job that I'm getting paid to do? It's not so much happening. And so now I am actually here at Park Rapids First Baptist.
Hell yeah.
You know,
Whoa, Nate,
that's kind of the opposite of the vibe I'm going for, Nathaniel.
That's why I said it.
I
What you told me you were at a church, I was like, oh,
yep,
he's not ready.
That was coming like
he's not ready.
That was coming like a freight train. And so I'm in the library, and so I'm looking around here, and I've got quite a few selections to take my choice from. If you're interested in Strong's exhaustive concordance of the Bible, I will tell you, I actually do know that's a thick read, people.
Sounds
thick
like
read.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't know why I have this blue tinge to me. That's
angelic.
That's right.
Are they blue in heaven? That's
Revelations is very confusing. Nate, I believe, if my sources are correct, I believe it's around 90 degrees in your general area right now. Are you outside podcasting again?
Yes, I am. I am outside podcasting. We got to acclimate back from vacation. Buddy, I told the fellas before we hit record that me and my beloved child Hayden, who's almost 10, we are out here getting rotisserie chicken, guys, for your podcast pleasure. Because you can't be inside a coffee shop doing a podcast.
That breaks
illegal.
some social rules. Yeah. Listen, so many of our societal norms have already broken down in so many major ways. We gotta, as soon as there's a patient zero podcasting inside a coffee shop, we've got to do something drastic. I, of course, as I believe you guys, I did listen to Thursday's episode. You guys did great. Tucker shepherded you for exactly as long as I would have in that same circumstance. So I am here in Florida at my parents' house for the first time in quite a while because the last couple of trips were derailed by hurricanes and whatnot. So I'm genuinely very grateful to have gotten to take this time here in the off season to come get to hang out and spend some quality time with my parents and my sister. My brother's on the other side of the state, and I got to chat with him and watch the Royals blow a lead. That was all very exciting. And yeah, it's just, it's nice to remember the reason we do all this and the reason that I'm in Florida right now. It's the cheapest place to get bath salts. The gang's all here, and we've got a few things to talk about, and then you guys have to do it again by yourselves on Thursday. I hope you remember that. So save some good stuff, but not all your good stuff, because we got a little time to spin with the voyeurs and a little time to look at some of the goods and bads and some stuff we've talked about. But I don't know. I'd ask how you guys were doing, but I know exactly how all of us are doing, and it's under duress. And maybe that's in honor of how Patrick Mahomes spent so much of 2024.
Nice.
Look, I do appreciate that everybody understands that. Look, guys, I got less than a month, before I really got to go back to work, before I really got to be outside. As Nate Dogg says, cinder block walls. Less than a month away. Oh my Lord, take me now. It's crazy how fast
I can arrange that from where I am. I had to read the Bible pretty carefully, but I'm pretty sure prayers work better if you're in a church building.
Right. Official. Yeah, official.
And official.
So it's amazing how fast the NFL offseason goes. And so, look, we're going to appreciate less than a month away because, as it came out, yesterday, I believe, I believe it was yesterday. I mean, I've known for a while, but like the official start of when we're going to have these first real training camp practices, fellas, it's less than a month away. I'm going to have to drive up to St. Joe every day and go back to work. And these hands are going to have to go from changing diapers back to typing. And I don't know, man. It just say a prayer for me.
Go ahead, Seth. I'll bow. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. You know what, Nate? I do pretty much every day. But that's a whole nother side note. Not so much for Josh. I've given up. And actually, incidentally, so is God. That was... The sky's open, and he went, no, not that one.
Hey, you know what? Spare yourself the time. I did appreciate that you gave Tucker my spot in your prayer lineup. It felt like he deserved it more.
Yeah, well, he's a little younger. He's eventually
not quite as far gone.
Yeah, you got to let that younger generation come in a certain point. I'm having a hard time get past how blue I look.
Yeah.
So basically,
this is actually your avatar.
No, this is actually what I really.
You could have. They're usually like 8 feet tall and like jacked. Like you could have done a cooler avatar.
I look like some kind of really weird, like some kind of weird bit that they're doing in a television show, thinking that they're being clever with like the different coloring for like a time lapse or like back in time, and it's just like it is throwing me because I look very pretend in front of a very real bookshelf.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the background
it's real. Yeah,
it's
real.
The background is real. Seth is green screen right now.
This is not AI. I promise you.
This is only weird games with.
Our commenters are so mean.
We've got Joshua Brisco, Nate Taylor, and then Seth Keysor as played by Andy Serkis. He's got ping pong balls all over him right now. He's in one of those suits.
It's amazing.
Man, the people the people that you can really tell where you're at in life based on the people that would play you in a movie. Because as you get older, it changes and you start to really like, oh man, but that is what it is. Nate, you know how I have a football problem?
Sure, let's hear it.
Right now, we're in the phase of June where I'm like, it's not that far a drive to go to a training camp practice or two, right? That's how we know it's June. The time of year where we're so desperate for football.
Thirsty. So thirsty. Give me one handoff.
I would crawl over an ocean of broken glass wearing nothing but a Speedo right now while someone poured alcohol over my wounds just to watch a failed RPO play. I would,
I wouldn't watch you do that to watch an RPO play.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, in person, yeah.
In person.
Yeah, I'm pretty desperate at this point. There's a few things I've got going for me in this life, and one of them is my ability to really reek of desperation, Nathaniel.
Okay. You learn new things about your favorite people. Got it. Wow.
Man, it's just life is good, people. And football, for some reason, football feels closer to me now than it did a few weeks ago. Like, I don't know why.
Yes.
It feels close. And
well,
I think where the desperation comes from that I'm so colorful. Considering how colorful I'm not today, it's all coming out of my personality.
Josh, we have done something very specific in the American sports calendar that I don't think people quite understand.
Okay.
When the calendar really does turn, because we still got, hey, who's gonna make the all-star team for baseball? Hey, what's going on in the WNBA right now? Obviously, it's a foregone conclusion that the Kansas City Current are the best team in the National Women's Soccer League. But there's, the NBA draft, Cooper Flag in a Dallas Mavericks uniform, T-minus 25 hours from now, based on when we're recording. Look, that's tomorrow.
You think the Suns might do anything else disastrous before the draft, just for fun? You know what? Let me just ask you, Nate, and anyone else.
Yeah,
watching,
sure.
You want Bradley Beal?
No, I don't want Bradley Beal.
Good, because he would reject the trade anyway because he has no trade clause, and I'm in hell. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, so look, Bradley Beal as your I'll say, I guess you're 2-man, and Dylan Brooks as a undersized 3-man. God help you. God help you, Josh. So there's one thing that we in America do right before football season starts, kids, and I got to give credit because I hope you understand where this is going. All right, now this is only for the video audience, so if you need to go back and look at it via YouTube, you can. Now, certain people do this around this time. As you can see, I'm in a very nice white The Amazing Spider-Man t-shirt.
It's a great shirt. Spider-Man
as I stand up
on there for the podcast audience.
As I stand up, oh yeah, kids.
Deep lunge.
Those are white shorts.
We got white on white.
With what?
Back at Wimbledon.
That's right, kids. White shoes. Now look, we haven't gone all white yet. Like when I mean all white, I mean you can't have a graphic t-shirt because this is the week before Wimbledon when we get to the rules don't really matter. But look, once Wimbledon ends, which I believe is July 13th, now we're in football season, kids. That's when you know it. Now, the other reason I'm wearing all white today, kids, is because, as I said earlier, I am a rotisserie chicken out here while my wife and child are inside a air-conditioned coffee shop. For you audience, I did this for you.
I have to describe. Nate doesn't need to do this again now, but earlier when we were all hopping on, Nate was saying that his wonderful wife and incredible newborn were both there with him, and he turned his laptop to reveal Holly and Noah behind a pane of glass like zoo animals. I felt like he might have been banging on the glass trying to get him to look his direction or something. Like I don't know.
Oh, I did for my son, for my newborn son. Yeah, I did.
It was unbelievable comedy. And then Seth logged on and he looked like an avatar stuck in a library. I mean, it's been a great day for me.
I'm fake. I'm project. You know what I am? Do you remember Pleasantville?
No,
By any chance?
Yes. Oh,
Pleasantville.
What? You talking about the TV show, right?
No, Pleasantville.
The movie.
The movie. Reese Witherspoon and Tobey Maguire.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
I am
sure.
Pleasantville when everything else has turned color and I'm still stuck in the black and white.
Black and
era.
white.
I don't know what I need to do.
It's a wonderful life, Seth.
Yeah, that is I am. It's a wonderful life. Like I'm a man out of time right now. This is just, man. Anyway, the commenters are doing immaculate work. Commenters are doing.
Your Honor, I have never been associated with Sean Diddy Combs. I just want to let that be on the record.
Why did you have to put that on the record? Oh, because of the all white. Okay, yeah.
Because they all white. Yeah. And there was some comment about baby oil, and I said, "Oh boy, I need to get out in front of this." No, you don't need baby oil when you got the heat of Overland Park upon thee.
People are saying it's Willy Wonka, and I'm about to get rolled off stage left.
That's the best one. It's the
You're
meanest,
turning
but it's the best
violet. Oh, dang it. I can't wait for football to start, but we are in like the off season.
Yes, cannot wait.
There is like,
aren't we?
Like, I mean, people were desperate before. Now is like a month, and so now I've got like a month to where I can like write like in-depth film reviews, and I can like talk about issues from like 30,000 feet in the air. So this is, in a weird way, one of my favorite times of the off season because you can really examine things and talk about the what and the why from a closer point of view while looking completely pretend. I need to turn like to where I can't see myself.
You look like the Boo Berry cereal mascot, for the blue ghost for the Halloween cereals. I'm a Count Chocula guy myself, but
sure.
It is the color palette you're working with there right now.
Oh gosh, it's so distracting how bad I look, which isn't new, but this is like a new kind of bad.
Different. Well, this isn't about you though. This is about your surroundings. So just make it somebody else's fault. And you gave me a beautiful introduction to just lob it right in your direction because you're looking at things from a 30,000-foot view. Nate is slowly dehydrating in the Overland Park sun, and I can see palm trees out my window. So man, Seth, we need you today. We need you today. You got a new piece of the Chief of the North newsletter, a hot one off the tracks this morning. There's good news and bad news regarding the Kansas City Chiefs offense. We've given a lot of these topics quite a bit of run as we've tried to get to the bottom of what went wrong last year and what could be better this year. But you really honed in on the explosive play problem. I'll let you do most of the setup. I have already read this article. I know, I read on vacation. I don't mean to brag, but I did do it. I'm caught up on Kingsley, too.
It looks like Seth is covered in ice.
We have me, Joshua Brisco, Nate Taylor, and the Snow Miser here with us today.
And Seth, who's been dead for 48 hours.
Jameson, as if Nate and Seth
Can
could
you
swap
imagine?
places. Dehydrated
Hello.
berries sound pretty good.
Anyway, yes, that's good news, bad
The
news.
people love the newsletter.
Oh, yeah, thank you, everyone. I'm glad you love the newsletter. Got a lot of really fun ideas for the next few weeks that just got to figure out how to find time to make them work. But I'm excited. If
I'm
like
just
30...
afraid if you don't get it done, you're going to be so mad that you blew it.
I honestly look like I've got maybe a week to live. So I really need to get this Patrick Mahomes film review done. Oh, I look like Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze in Batman and Robin. Well, there's a few differences. There's a few. How did we get Lazarus in a church calling in? Our commenters. Okay, I'm sorry. Commenters,
It's
you
okay.
are seen. You are amazing. I
Listen,
have to
Encino
go to
Man
private
sequel's
jet.
looking amazing. Is extremely good. Look, guys, you got to just give Seth, again, if you missed maybe the very first beginning of the show, Seth had internet issues at home, and we just pulled him out of the river he'd been floating in for 2 days.
Oddly enough, looking at me, you wouldn't think it, but I'm really warm.
Hey
in
man,
this
it's hot out
office.
here. When I'm gonna be able to drink this water successfully?
This is the dumbest thing. I'm so sorry, people that are listening instead of watching. Just click on the YouTube thing, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, okay." Gosh, it's just so bad. So, looking at issues from 30,000 feet in the air, Nate. Nate, it's good news, bad news time, and normally I tell you to pick one first, but I'm afraid you'll pick the wrong one. So I'm going to ask you good news, bad news, and someone just said you look like Arnold in the sense that he did the DeVito played twins. Hey, is that you, Charlie? That's mean. Goodness gracious.
So you want
All
to tell me the good news, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
No, I want to tell you the bad news. Nate, dang it. So here's the bad news. There's been a lot of conversation about how bad the Chiefs were at big plays on offense last year. The bad news is, however bad you think the Chiefs were at gaining at generating big plays last year.
Yes, of over 20,
game,
of over let's just say over 20 yards or more. Yes.
Yep. Oh, even if you do, I think it's like I think usually the cutoff for most sites, I think, is 15 yards for run plays.
Okay. Sure.
Either that or
right.
Either
Correct.
that or 10. Because the idea being, a 10-yard run is a pretty explosive
It's a first
play.
down. Yes,
Yeah.
first down.
A 20-yard pass is an explosive play.
2 first
And
downs.
so, okay, nope, I got to turn away from the comments.
You got to supplicate the comments, but settle down, Seth. You're getting blue in the face. It's very funny.
I'm going to hold my breath till they fix the offense. It really looks like I'm about to die. It does. Oh, so here's the bad news. However bad you think
Seth
they
is
were,
trying out for sad in the next Inside Out movie.
I'm just feeling a little sick. Come on, man.
It's good, Joseph.
Golly,
Thank
the
you.
internet's funny.
Oh man, I have tears in my eyes. I don't know if I could do this today, guys. I might have
Okay.
to go.
All right. Okay. People, you're so funny. I know, again, it's hard to
Please.
believe, but I'm genuinely warm.
Seth, you have to. I'm also sweating. Seth, and Nate obviously is because it's 90 degrees outside, and his wife and newborn are trapped inside of a zoo exhibit.
That would make anyone nervous. I'm the one that looks like he should be in an exhibit right now. Here we have the dying man. So, However bad you think the Chiefs were at generating explosive plays last year, they were worse. Unless you think they were literally the worst team in the league at it, other than the Raiders, who don't count because they weren't a real team last year. Which, side note, the Raiders are run by an adult now who chews gum like he's not an adult, but is an adult, and Pete Carroll. They have an adult quarterback now. That makes me a little nervous. There's a chance Brock Bowers has 9,000 yards receiving next year.
Oh, he's so good.
He's
oh,
so
God.
Good.
And he has a real quarterback. He has a real quarterback. Oh, no.
Although Geno Smith hasn't done a ton of work with tight ends. And so
I don't care.
Yeah.
But I commenters, I'm gonna go back and look later because I bet it's hilarious.
Yeah, you can't. You have to go to the private chat, or else we're never gonna hear if the Chiefs' offense is fixable or not.
There was a chart that was put out by Ian Harditz, he was utilizing True Media's chart in terms of explosive run rate and explosive pass rate, which is exactly what it sounds like. What percentage of times that you run the ball or pass the ball where you get an explosive play out of it. The Chiefs, there are only 2 teams in the league that were worse than them at generating explosive run plays, the Raiders and the Chargers. There were only 4 teams that were worse than the Chiefs at generating explosive pass plays. The
Raiders and Rams, by the way, I know it's picky, but
Rams. Oh man, that is the Rams. These stupid LA.
Anyway, bad.
Oh well, I also made that mistake in the article, so I'm gonna need to fix that. Anywho, I did think the Chargers did not make any sense. No. The Rams make way more sense, and I'm an idiot. Anyway, so you've only got a couple of teams there.
Don't get too blue about it.
I knew he was going there.
So the only team that was worse in both explosive run rate and explosive pass rate were the Raiders, which means that the Chiefs were arguably the worst team in the league in explosive plays last year. That's the bad news. However bad you think they weren't just bad for the Chiefs. They weren't just, they're below average. This isn't it's a down year for explosive plays. They were the worst. They were awful. They were objectively terrible at it. That's the bad news. Here's the good news. Oh, yeah. You wouldn't think of looking at me, but I was all ready to get in there. Sorry. The good news is I look like if you licked me, it would taste like blueberry. I'm
not interested in proving it. So what's the better news?
Continue.
Here's the better news. You would think that a team that is terrible at generating explosive plays would also have a terrible offense. And so if you look at the other teams that were at the very bottom of the league in generating explosive plays overall, so you've got like the chart, bottom left corner, essentially, on the chart, right? Or graph or whatever it is. You got the Raiders, the Browns, the Giants, and the Bears. You kind of have the Cowboys there, but that's only because of the time they were without Dak Prescott, so you kind of throw them out. Those 4 teams, they're the other teams that are as bad as the Chiefs, or actually not even. The Browns, Giants, and Bears were a little better at generating explosive runs. So those teams had the 29th, 32nd, 31st, and 28th scoring offenses in the league last year. Bad at generating big plays almost always means you have a bad offense. When you're truly terrible at it, the Chiefs in scoring offense, what do you think they were at there, Mr. Taylor?
In scoring points, you say?
Yeah, offensive scoring points.
7th.
Not 7th. Man, you guys were a little over optimistic. I sold that a little too hard. Dang it, I should have started with the other things. They were 15th.
No, I read the wrong thing in your story. I'll say 15th.
No, I was trying to be a little too optimistic, one might add.
32nd, Seth. They were 31st in explosive plays. They were 31st in scoring off.
That's what you think, Josh, but it's not that.
I can't believe I messed that up.
What can you do? So the Chiefs were 15th in the league in scoring. Now here, again, the other teams that were remotely where they were at were 32nd, 31st, 29th, and 28th in scoring. They were all absolute bottom of the league, whereas the Chiefs are middle of the pack. Technically slightly above average, right? Because 16th would be perfectly average. How do you do that? How are you the only team that is awful at generating explosive plays, but somehow about average in scoring? Well, by expected points added per play, they were 11th. in success rate. And success rate is just measuring what percentage of the time you gained yardage in a way that made it likely that you would achieve a first down. It's an analytics tool. It's a lot better than yards per play. Because here's the thing with yards per play, all right? You could have 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard. Do that 10 times. And then a 100-yard play. And then you're like, oh, wow, they were averaging almost 10 yards per play, right? That's how averages mislead you. By doing success rate, you see how consistent your offense was. The Chiefs, one of you said 7th for a stat. The Chiefs were 7th in success rate in 2024. They were 2nd in the league in third down conversions. So what you have here is something that's extraordinarily unique. I actually didn't know any of this. This is why it's so interesting to me. They had a god-awful offense in terms of making big plays that was somehow still an average offense because it was efficient and consistent.
And can I add one thing?
Please do. I talked so much just now. If you can't tell, I'm out of breath.
Just so people quite understand how good that the quarterback they root for is Patrick Mahomes. He was the best quarterback last year when you gave him the ball on 4th down. Full stop. When the Chiefs went for it on 4th down, they were highly efficient. So to further Seth's point here, I just looked this up yet again to tell you how crazy last year was. That no matter who was in the huddle with Patrick Mahomes, the Chiefs still converted on 51.5% of their late down snaps, which is 3rd and 4th down. It's the highest rate in the league.
That's how you make it happen, even when you can't make big plays. You're able to convert. Now, and there's a bunch of reasons why not having an explosive offense makes it hard to have a good offense. You are forced to, and Chiefs fans, my hope is, as I'm talking, Chiefs fans start to click about what last year looked like. Because last year did look different than 2023. The offense was better than 2023 in a lot of measures. And so you know what it looks like if you don't generate big plays but still have like an average offense? Every single drive looks hard. Every single drive requires 10 to 15 plays or more. And you're dragging down the field. You converted like 4 third downs. If you got a hold, it didn't happen. Unless your quarterback did something stupid on like 3rd and 20. One false start. Hello, Joanne. No, 1st and 15. What do you mean 15? We can barely make 10, Andy. Like, you want us to do 15 in 3 plays? What? That's what it looks like. And that's why the Chiefs offense looked so ugly at times last year. And it was so frustrating to watch because it's like they were crawling down the field, but yet they were still able to do that and be a league average offense in terms of scoring and above average in terms of consistency and moving the ball. That is the good news, because in football, you almost never have it to where, and I wrote about this at length when I was talking about the deep ball game. Everyone always wants one thing to be the thing, right? What's the problem with the deep ball? Well, it's this, and that's the only problem. Life doesn't work that way. It's almost never that way. It's almost never one thing. Right. And so that's whenever someone says, I found the problem, I'm like, did you though? And sometimes it's true. In football, almost never. In this particular case, all the conversation about, the Chiefs offense has really lost track of the fact that if you fix that one thing and generate a couple more explosives a game, they don't need to be good at generating explosive plays. They weren't good at it in 2022. They were fine, but they were efficient, and that made it the best offense in the league. That's all they have to do. They just have to have last year's offense with a couple of explosive plays laced in there. And you are talking a top 3 offense. That's the good news.
I think the follow-up to that is something we've answered already several times this offseason, which is, okay, well, so then how do you make that happen? And you can read, there are lots of things that Seth has written about that contribute to the thing here. But it's average wide receiver health, and it's average left tackle play. And the Chiefs doubled down, and there's other stuff, and if you want to add some more to them, Seth, go for it. But those are the two that seem the most evident to me, where last year left tackle was a disaster that made Patrick Mahomes' life significantly harder. on a regular basis, changed how the offense wanted to play, and that was happening simultaneously with your preseason number 1 and number 2 wide receivers both going down. Obviously, Xavier Worthy was on a good trajectory by the end of the year. Maybe he would have eclipsed those guys anyway, but plan A and plan B at wide receiver gone before the season gets any momentum. So I think there's cause for optimism there, because it's not, well, if they could just sign one more playmaker, or if Jared Wiley becomes a number 1 tight end, like we're really betting on huge leaps from young players. They just need to bet on Hollywood Brown's clavicle, on Rashee Rice just not trying to make a tackle on an interception. Like I mentioned the specifics of those, not just to be funny, but like those were freak incidents.
How much do you think Joe Blameyer and Connor Embry have told Rashee Rice, when there's an interception this upcoming season, walk to the sideline?
Yeah, we got other guys. We got other guys.
Briskly walk to the sideline. We need you for the next offensive snap.
Hey, Patrick, did you hear that? Come here. Hey, come here. Hey, Pat, come here. Shh, come here. I don't need you to have any tackles on your Pro Football Reference stat sheet. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
It's such a freak thing that occurred with him. And that's actually another thing that I don't think people realize. And there were a few things, and no one likes to be I don't think enough people are talking about it guy. But I really don't think enough people are talking about it.
That guy.
Someone's saying they're being distracted by lawyer Smurf. Sorry, I switched back. That's on me. Rashee Rice was on pace to have an unbelievable season, probably 1,600 plus yards, a bunch of touchdowns. The other thing to think about with Rashee Rice, and I didn't even think about this till I think it was Heath Cummings tweeted about this. He pointed out that not just if you look at the first 3 games of the 2023 or 2024 season, if you look at the last 17 games Rashee Rice started, he's putting up wide receiver 1 numbers.
Yeah, it's almost like that's the third topic on today's show.
Oh, hey, it is. Sorry, I'm a little...
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your number 1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others that not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to. And I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust. And I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible. And they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN. And that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
Folks, there's nothing that beats relaxing on a hot summer day and watching some baseball. And there's no simpler way to get in on the action than by downloading the Pick 6 app from DraftKings. It's crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for 2 or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. And the best part, Pick 6 is available right here in Missouri. Don't miss out on the fun. Don't settle for a smaller payout. Switch to Pick 6, and right now, new customers can get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Here's what you got to do. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to get $25 in bonus picks with their first deposit of $5. Better payouts, bigger wins, only with Pick 6 from DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Bonus picks expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Man, we got Tucker and BJ bringing a real heat to the breaks now. Once again, this show is no longer the best part of this show. That's probably been true for a while. So I don't know if you guys saw this tweet from Heath Cummings on Twitter. He took a closer look at what Rashee Rice's future could look like. You know, I'll read it here. I think it was a really interesting conversation that at least I bet Nate's interested in. So he's
For sure.
Sorry, I was too busy being in the opening scenes from The Matrix to really recognize.
Somebody said you look like the chicken that's been on the back of their freezer for 6 months. Heath tweets, let's eschew the small sample size as many are suggesting. Last 17 games for Rashee Rice, excluding the game he tore, actually not his ACL quite right, but anyway, they had the knee injury and played 4 snaps, right?
LCL.
Eliminating that game. Thank you, Nate. Man, it's so good to have a helpful co-host. So here are Rashee Rice's last 17 games, excluding the injury-shortened one. 108 catches, 1,243 yards, 8 touchdowns on 136 targets. Would have been wide receiver 6 in fantasy football last year, or he goes into the fantasy stats there as well. But the production for Rashee Rice in these last 17 games, and if you really want to take just the first 3 of last year and extrapolate those going forward, he had such an enormous role loading in this offense. And again, you lose your top 2 receivers entering last year to these freak injuries. But I'll say, and you guys mentioned this when you talked about Josh Simmons on Thursday as well, but Andy Reid says Rashee Rice and Josh Simmons are good for training camp. And the latest we've heard on the suspension front was something that I saw Seth quote tweeted a little bit ago, a few days back, that it was like, well, the NFL's not going to do anything till the criminal charges are handled. I don't know if we've seen criminal charges.
We have not.
No.
And he posted bond, and so another Chiefs fan who's an attorney on Twitter, he and I chatted about this a little bit. I'm not familiar with the rules of procedure in Texas. I'm not familiar with a procedure that would have you bond out when you haven't been charged yet. But I'm also not familiar with any kind of procedure in which there would be an existing criminal file where there's no hearings, there's no arraignment, there's no complaint, there's no indictment, there's none of that. Which, by the way, this is a serious topic. I'm going to stick to this. So I don't know what's going to happen to that. As far as we know, the criminal matter, nothing has happened, including actual charges being filed. And until I see a criminal file or a complaint, that's what I have to go with, I guess.
And it's not like we have much to conclude the civil lawsuits at the moment as well. So
they've got a lot of. If I were those the civil litigants, I would be like, if I were their attorney, I'd be filing a motion to stay proceedings for. What year is he in his contract? He's in his third year. I'd be in it to stay proceedings for about 2.5 years. Be like, Judge, we're not in a hurry. Why don't we see what's going on in 2027? Because he's on his way to get paid significantly more. But I mean, the point being, we don't know what's going to happen. And it looks like he might just be good to go for this year. There's sense.
Yeah. I just want to clarify this really quickly. There's been no conversation of any kind regarding Rashee Rice recently. So there you go.
Suspension wise.
Yes, correct.
That
doesn't mean the league can't change its mind or the league can't come to some decision. Now, I think the players union would highly get involved considering how unusual this has all been. But as of right now, there's been it's been a whole lot of nothing.
I'm just going to go ahead and just get 2 of them out here. Jabin Carter says, Seth, can you grant me 3 wishes?
Incredible.
Someone called me the Night King.
My owner said, are you aware of any procedures that could get your heart pumping again, Seth?
Can you imagine someone jumping in like, why is no one getting Seth to the hospital?
Yeah.
Who is not?
Is he alive?
I know it's cold in Minnesota, but it's June.
I know. And that's the thing. It's been beautiful here. Like the last 2 days, like Minnesota in June, you'll get these 72 and sunny days where you walk outside and the sun hits you and you're like, this is it. This is why people snowbird. The smart people spend their summers in Minnesota and their winters in Florida. and the smart and the rich. Like,
Right. Yeah.
there's another level to that
helps.
in
Be
terms
nice.
of do that.
So
I did want to say, I'm so sorry. I did want to say you raise an awesome point about Rice, and I'm legitimately not trying to be facetious or anything. It really is.
did you say raisin? He has headphones. No.
We lost him. We lost him.
Come back. Nate
guys,
Raisin's awesome points.
Rasheed Rice is good at football, and he might be good at football sooner than we thought he could be good at football again.
Boom. There you go. That's the podcast.
He's really good at football, guys. And if he would just drive the speed limit, he might never get suspended. So, hey, it's great. Just, look, there's a lot on Roger Goodell's plate. I don't know what that plate is right now.
I'll tell you what, you guys check out the new Pablo Torre and against all odds, the Pablo Torre Mike Florio collab. I'm about halfway through it.
Hey,
guys,
is
NFL Players Association.
Do something. Yeah.
Do something.
They don't care.
Do something.
Well, clearly.
I mean,
I'm only halfway through the episode.
I mean, yeah, when I saw that came out, I just said, here's one guy. And here's another guy. And I don't think this is the Spider-Man meme. No,
this is
what
is
is going on?
This is one of those pairings you're like, well, you guys are teaming up for this. You must need the firepower. Like there is an alliance happening here that I wasn't expecting, but that I am enjoying.
Yeah. And it is, I mean, the reality is, I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen exactly when this all took place. My assumption is it would relate to like Deshaun Watson's contract or something like that. Right. And I mean, this is one of those things, and I'm not saying that makes it necessarily okay, but it is like one of those things like we were all like, yeah, we know. Like, yeah, they definitely did that. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. That's what it feels like.
Yeah,
and
because it's Deshaun Watson, no one cares, right? That's the thing.
There might be there's another way we can embarrass the Haslam's? For real? you sure? I'll embarrass them right now. Yeah, I'll get on the phone. I'll talk.
There's a group text right now with 31 NFL owners, and the Haslams aren't in it.
No,
that's the group.
No,
text.
They're not. Well, technically 30 because the Green Bay Packers, as we all know, don't have an owner per se.
Well, you know what?
Per se.
What do I know? I
you
look like Jarrell in the Fortress of Solitude. So
sorry, I didn't know there was another one loading there. You know what you can? Hey, if you don't want to be blue this summer, why don't you go over to givebutter.com/KCSN Golf and get all the details and learn how to secure your team for the KCSN Foundation's 4th annual Tacos and Bourbon Golf Tournament. The 2025 edition is going to be on Monday, August 18th at Creekmore Golf Course. A beautiful location, a beautiful event every single time, and it's going to be an absolute blast. That'll start at 11 a.m. on Monday, August 18th. You can check all that out, get the info, get the team details and all the stuff that you'll get within the package there. Price per team is $600 for the team through July 15th. After that, it goes to $700 per team. Limited number of spots available, so go sign up soon. You can get all the details at givebutter.com/KCSN Golf. That's givebutter.com/KCSN Golf. I forgot to do that earlier. I was too busy laughing at Seth's circumstance.
Yeah.
Anything you want to underline on the Rasheed Rice front here? Nate made a wonderful point, I think, that you were going to say. The pass catcher group together. I also think there's an interesting conversation where if you do have 16, 17 games of Rasheed Rice, you get what you hope is a full season of Hollywood Brown. You get another year of Xavier Worthy taking a larger role here. You've got a pretty impressive 1, 2, 3. Yes. And then I could ask, how do you rank that hierarchy for this group of pass catchers? And you can do it by targets, involvement in the offense, yards. I'm not really interested in the counting stats. But if you were going to try to figure out how to rank those guys out, that's one question. The more interesting question, I think, is where does Travis Kelce go? If you add him to that mix, because I could see a world where he is 1 or 4 or 2 or 3, because I think any of those could ultimately be signs of a healthier offense. And Seth, as you have laid out, last year's offense was not healthy. It was good enough, it was efficient enough, but it was not healthy, much like you.
God dang it, man. Come on. I'm fighting for my life trying to get.
Yeah, I bet it's cold in that freezer.
Yeah, I mean,
I wish it would make so much sense. So you hit on
it's
something.
not a day you walk into a church and get bluer. That's really hard to do.
Yeah, it is hard to do.
You're in a church of all places. You're in the Lord's house. You look. Ooh, buddy,
I wish it would have been really fun to save all these, which I would have missed out on so much laughter and fun to like at the very end been like, and I haven't breathed since this episode started or whatever. So you hit on something really interesting there, Josh. Like, where does Travis Kelce fit in? Ideally, it's game by game. For the first time in years, maybe you reach a point where it's game by game, where it's got to be Kelce, right? Maybe you reach a point to where you've got a Rashee Rice game, which, by the way, I think where we start is if he's fully healthy, if he's just as explosive as he was looking before he went down with injury and has continued to work on those releases a little bit. Because, I mean, you can't forget about a couple of those. He had a downfield crosser against the Falcons, had a downfield go against the Bengals. Rice was doing a few things down the field. I would just say that Rashee Rice is number one. I think that's plan A for them this year. I think that was plan A for them last year. And that's part of why things look so discombobulated, because for the first time in years, including the Tyreek Hill phase of the Chiefs dynasty, yes, Tyreek Hill was incredible and sometimes led them in yards, but he was not option one. Nope. Travis Kelce was option one. And correct. That's just how incredible he was. But you could see that was the plan last year. Rashee Rice, number one guy, 10 targets a game, maybe sometimes less, depending on that. I think that's the ecosystem that it revolves around. And then as teams adjust to that, okay, is this an Xavier Worthy game? Is this a Hollywood Brown game? Is this a Travis Kelce game? And ideally in a healthy is it an Isaiah Pacheco game? Is it a Brashard Smith game?
Right.
Is it? That might be overly optimistic.
Carson Steele game.
No, never. But
no, whoa. We saw that in week 3. We saw it, kids.
That is true.
Yeah. We saw it in week 3. 1 week.
You got to carry the ball, man.
One game. He held up for one game against the Atlanta Falcons, who kind of almost. I can't. Like they made the playoffs. No, they didn't. They didn't make the playoffs. They should have, perhaps, if they had functional quarterback for half the season who wasn't coming off an ACL tear, or an Achilles tear. Excuse me, off an Achilles. So yeah. And so was it an Achilles or an ACL? I can't remember.
It was an Achilles.
Yeah. So they gave him $40 million coming off an Achilles.
Hey, he got the bag, and he did part 2 of the Netflix quarterback series. So there you go. So that's where the interesting thing for them is. There's a few ifs there, but they're not big ifs. Like, to me, a big if is, can Josh Simmons be an above-average left tackle and win the starting job in year 1? That's a big if. It's a huge ask for a rookie, even with one that has as good a film as he does. Can Xavier Worthy be who he was by the end of the year last year, plus 5%? That's not a huge one. Can Rashee Rice be who he was? That's not a huge one. Can Hollywood Brown be who he's been his whole career when he's at his best, attacking the intermediate portions of the field rather than asking him to do some of the shallow stuff only that they were having him do last year when he came back? Those things all make sense and are very plausible. And if you do that, it's a week-by-week game plan commodity, and you can decide based on your matchups what you want to do. Like what they did against the Ravens in week 1, where they spread everything out. That works so much better with a developed Hollywood Brown and with a developed Xavier Worthy and a healthy Hollywood Brown. So let's spread them all out. Hey, you were going to run zone? Now you've got a linebacker covering Rashee Rice.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Roquan Smith was in hell for 3
that
hours
was
in that game. Absolutely. Hey, buddy, didn't you trade all offseason to get absolutely put in conflict constantly?
It was, and that I think, and that's why I wrote about this a little when talking about, because a lot of people talk about Andy Reid and Matt Nagy, mostly Matt Nagy, for reasons that don't entirely make sense to me in terms of who to blame for how things went with the offense last year. You saw them develop through the year. They were like, they wanted to do was spread teams out, get back to that, not the same as 2018 because the personnel is different, but they wanted to spread everyone out, put them in conflict, Hades, and make them choose. And the idea is if everyone's healthy, no matter what you choose wrong. That's the dream for an offense, right? I think that's the goal this year. I think you see a lot more empty, which empty does so many things for Patrick Mahomes' ability to read coverages. And then it creates space, which that's what he needs. If there's pressure on Mahomes, what he needs most is space. If the offensive line, if there's going to be a guy who loses, because Mahomes one-on-one in space against defensive linemen, he generally wins that. Against corners, that's more problematic. But against a lot of linebackers, he does too. So I think that's the plan. Right. And then who is the main character? I think it's going to be mostly Rice. I think that's the plan A. It's just this year, if everyone else stays healthy, you can have a plan B and a plan C.
Right. That looks functional and looks within the system.
Yes. Seth looks like Hades, actually. I do. From the Hercules movie.
Yes, I saw you read it and I was just like, lay back. So think about it from this standpoint too, because like if Vic Fangio doesn't want to blitz and wants to play zone and wants to just rush forward constantly, the only way to beat that consistently is to spread people out and quick game them to death. And the Chiefs didn't have the personnel on the offensive line or in the or from the receiving skill position standpoint to actually do that effectively enough to stay within the game. So I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Vic Fangio, because we like to simplify things down as a society, and I understand that. But people are going to say, well, look what Vic Fangio did. He just had 4 maulers, and he just dropped 7 into coverage and asked Patrick Mahomes to find the open man. When yes, but it ain't that simple, guys, because it'll be a new year, new personnel, and if they're healthier than they were at any point last season, and if Travis Kelce plays up to his capabilities, which he didn't do in the Super Bowl, then that strategy actually isn't going to work because people said it should be repeatable from the Super Bowl.
Yep. I'm actually with you. You made the point well.
Great. This has already been, legally speaking, a podcast, and I feel like we've talked about all of the topics that we really wanted to get to. So unless Megamind has anything else for us here, I think we can hand it over to Nate to get out of here.
I'm gonna forever hold my peace here, which isn't shocking. I have to go back to. I need to go back to my time. See, those camels will never catch me.
I hope you get home and Jazz has a nice warm water bottle for you to put on your forehead.
That's right.
I need some sun, guys. This is great. No, I've got to go fight Magneto now. And
sounds about right.
It's just never ending. Oh, please, Nate, release me from this hell.
So look, I know we are quote unquote officially in the off-season lessons portion of this, so I will give one off-season lesson and then we'll get out of here. My off-season lesson is this, guys. Given the current life that we are all living, enjoy what you can enjoy right now. And that includes you, Seth. Please go outside. You don't have to spend all your time in the church. Okay. Getting a break, touching some grass, get off that AI machine. We don't have to stay inside anymore and watch NBA basketball to only be hurt based on the circumstances of a guy that gave us quite the joy ride for 2 months now, because I remember what this podcast was when we all celebrated the brilliance of Giannis, and I thought we were going to get that chance to do that with Tyrese Halliburton. So
I wasn't celebrating Giannis.
Sad. I mean, I was celebrating.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I was celebrating. As was Seth. Look,
Porzingis to the
take a
Hawks.
break. Stop it.
I
Sorry,
prefer
go
the
This
ahead.
league
St.
is
Louis
so
Blues
stupid.
personally.
This league is gross. This league is gross. I tell you, gross. Sorry, son. He's right next to me. You don't understand, man. They sent the 7-foot freak to Atlanta. Come on. Come on, man. Thank you, Josh. So go outside when NBA News literally sent you into another corner because you're like, wait, what? But it's been a really nice summer. We all get a month before we anxiously have to wonder who's practicing, who's not practicing, who's reporting, who's not reporting. I mean, we learned today. God bless her. God bless her, Josh. Did you see today? Did you see?
I don't know if I did. What did I see?
It's about one Aaron Rodgers.
I sure did.
Ooh, God
I
bless
sure
her.
did.
God bless everybody, because Aaron Rodgers today told us that, look, this really should be the last season. He's basically acknowledged that. Congratulations to him. He's done something Travis Kelce has yet to do, so just keep that in mind. Because our heroes at some point have to all become human again, which is fine, but just go outside, enjoy some nice weather, maybe hit a tennis ball or two outside. Yeah, and so that's my off-season lesson, is to actually take an off-season, because I've never been more heartbroken watching a player get injured that I have no affiliation with, I have no attachment with. Like, it just tells you that, like, these guys work and train so hard that I actually want them to go on an off season. I actually want you to stop training. I actually want you to go outside, go to the beach. I don't know, maybe get fat for a week. I don't care. Like, have a cheat day for a whole week. Stop training. Your ligaments can't do this, man. That's not really Tyrese Halliburton's fault. He was put in a very precarious situation, given that he might never play another as important basketball game in his life. He kind of had to be out there. So again, it's a tragic story. We've all been there. Obviously, Seth needs to go. He needs to get out of this library sooner rather than later. And so I'll leave you with this. It occurred to me that, friends have come to me every now and then for advice. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I have less than a month. Pray for me. I have less than a month before I got to start typing again. That white screen gonna get me, guys. It's gonna be so hard. And I appreciate everybody from The Athletic being like, "Where's Nate?" And it's like, my wife had a baby, and our society has finally gotten around to, hey, maybe both parents shouldn't have to work with a newborn baby. Maybe we should just, make that normal like every other country. That's functional. And has a good heart. So yes, I've been taking care of Noah and Hayden and Holly, and the house, which is crazy. But look, I'll be back to like real work in a month, less than a month. God bless me. I gotta go back to work in St. Joseph, Missouri. Okay. But every now and then people ask me for advice, and I know I haven't given this man an answer, because look, when your son blows out on your chest, kind of hard to get back to this person via text. Obviously, I'm gonna see a movie that Josh wants me to see. Obviously, I'm gonna tell Max Hill via the podcast, you good, dog. You straight. You ain't gotta worry about it, okay? I gotta get back to everybody in the 1 hour that I know my son ain't gonna poop on my face, okay? I know this 1 hour my son ain't gonna pee on my chest, okay? I know for this 1 hour I'm not gonna get spit up just everywhere, okay? And it doesn't involve me in the weirdly, the bathroom and the shower is the only recipe for this non-disaster. So guys, my buddy, and I tell you, this is a true story. We're gonna end it here, kids.
This is your fourth outro.
This is like the Return of the King.
I'm gonna tell you this.
And I should know I played Saruman after he died.
My buddy, my friend,
Dead Orc 7.
My buddy, my friend, my colleague. I'm gonna put him out there because I love him. Again, this is all in love. But my brother in Christ, Pete Sweetie, texted me yesterday at 10 a.m. That's how much I've been getting pooped and peed on, guys. I ain't even got back to this man yet. We're 18 hours later. Pete Sweeney texted me and said, "Hey, pal, great start. I'm thinking about taking tennis 101.
Oh,
Am I just going to be horrendous?"
Run, Pete. Run like the wind.
Pete, it's the best drug that they've somehow legalized in this country. Please take this tennis lesson. Please. Of course you're going to be horrendous. I was horrendous 6 years ago, and now I have a functional serve. It can happen. It's so much fun. My son plays tennis. Obviously, we're going to talk about tennis. You come to the tennis dark side. It will refuel you. It'll give you hope. You'll start to understand how hard it is for professional athletes to do anything. That's incredible, because I don't know how these tennis players do it. It's nuts. But yeah, I mean, come on, Pete. I need a tennis friend in the Chiefs media circle.
That's
It's just me out here.
I'm playing you out.
I don't hear it, so I don't know if this bit is working for anybody else.
I think it's
or not.
Bluey.
That
Pete,
makes
take
a
the
lot of
tennis
sense.
lessons.
Somebody get Seth out of that carbonite already.
Please don't poop on my shirt, son. Please don't do it today. Please don't do it tonight.